ESST 310, Social Studies for Elementary School Teachers. Before I began this class, I assumed it would revolve around the topics I remember learning about as a young student and how I could go about teaching them to my future students. Topics I remember learning about include maps, communities and buildings, cultures and diversity, and history according to Eurocentric views. Although some of these topics are included in the Saskatchewan curriculum, this class was centered on how we can teach social studies for social justice. This involves teaching in fair and equitable ways and teaching young learners about both the inequalities that our world and communities face. We also talked about how we need to teach about what we can do to make a difference by becoming informed of social movements that are placed both inside the classroom and out. We need to learn that teaching for social justice needs to be taught in explicit ways instead of just teaching from a textbook. Wade talks about how we need to, quote, seek out resources within the school and community to enliven the curriculum and bring meaningful social justice content to classroom lessons, end quote. Teaching social studies for social justice also shouldn't just be limited to the social studies subject, but rather should be implemented into every subject and in everyday lessons and activities. She also mentions that there are 4 school themes that guide instruction in social studies. These include 1. We respect ourselves and our world. 2. We send messages when we communicate. 3. We can make a difference on planet Earth. And 4. We share stories of the world. I believe it is so important that we get to know the learners in our classroom because not one child is the same. Each child brings a new identity and perspective forward, which can include different learning styles, different languages, ethnicities, races, families, and much more. According to Wade, she talks about how we need to understand that a lot of children's background knowledges come from their lived experiences. This just goes to show that we need to build relationships with our students to help us better understand and implement ways in which we can teach to their whole being. Something that was really eye-opening that I have learned throughout this course is that it is not just adults who are making a difference, but kids are also huge motivators and can do so much when they put their minds to it and are dedicated to making a change. I learned that there is such a thing as child activists, and this truly shows that we as educators should be supporting our students in whatever ways possible to help guide them to become responsible and respectful individuals of society. We also shouldn't be assuming that our students are too young to understand social issues, because to my realization, young students should and can be introduced to topics such as hunger, homelessness, racism, sexism, labor issues, poverty, stereotyping, unemployment, and homophobia. To end, we as educators need to, quote, take the first steps towards establishing this foundation by meeting students' basic needs, treating them fairly and respectfully, valuing students' cultures, and creating a child-centered curriculum, end quote. In turn, this will promote and enhance students to think and act in positive and healthy ways, and to be more critical about how their actions affect others.